Hello everyone! This video is a quick intro to team building in Friends and Dragons, and is meant for brand new players. That's right, shiny new players whose barracks look a lot like this. So, although you begin with only 3 team slots, soon enough you expand your team to 5 units, plus a merc you can borrow from your guild. But when you're just starting out, figuring out what units to put on your team can be tricky, since Playsome, you know, the guys who make the game, have added tons and tons of classes to it. And while this makes for extremely layered strategy and endgame content, it can also make early team building a bit confusing. So, let's go over the basics. First up, your goal is to build a monocolor team. This is because the team leader gives an attack bonus to teammates of the same color, with higher rarity leaders giving bigger bonuses. 5-star units give the best leader bonuses, but you can still absolutely make a team with a 3 or 4-star leader, it just won't be quite as strong. Next, let's talk team composition. Most content in the game can be cleared by teams that do a lot of damage quickly, while some content, like boss fights, requires a more defensive strategy. Because of this, building a team with 4 damage dealers and 1 healer, plus whatever merc you borrow, is a great way to blast through dungeons. Magic units, that is mages, elementalists, witches, and warlocks, are the fastest way to clear enemies, but their damage is generally weaker than melee units, and magic units are squishy and prone to dying. Out of your 4 damage dealers, you'll generally want 1 or 2 to be magic units to clear weaker enemies so your team doesn't get overwhelmed. Your other damage dealers will be a mix of melee and ranged units, and there are a lot of options. 2 standout classes are rogues, who can reposition enemies and control the board, and pirates, who are just universally strong and deal damage in 8 directions. Other excellent damage dealers are rangers, archers, and javelineers. Now that you have your 4 damage dealers, on to healers. The best healers in the game are, surprise, healers. If you don't have a healer, you can make do with a druid or a paladin. Warlocks technically heal, but they're mainly damage dealers who serve as supplementary team heals. At this point, you should have your 5-man team set, but I know what you're going to ask me. What about all the other classes? For the most part, the remaining classes are geared toward heavy enemies and bosses. They're tanky, can take a beating, and keep enemies away from your squishy damage dealers. While you don't really need them in most early content, they're critical for the more strategic endgame content. So if you have extra resources, go ahead and build a knight or guardian to tank, hunter to slow enemies, or an assassin to take down the really dangerous ones. Finally, if you're so new to the game that your barracks looks like this, you just can't build a monocolor team yet. Get your 4 damage dealers and your healer and have a rainbow experience. You'll keep pulling new units and you'll eventually get those beautiful monocolor teams. This ends my intro to team building. If you want to know what units in your roster are top tier and get suggestions for who to build, jump into the Friends and Dragons Discord. There are always folks ready to help in the Newcomers Tavern.